So this is how you have been brainwashed into being non-spiritual. So it's because some people, many people, are calling life something other than life. They are calling life something else, like molecules or matter. See, they're calling life something other than life. They're calling it something else. They're calling it molecules or matter or whatever. They're calling it something other than what it really is. And now you're just confused. You're like, well, what is this mysterious matter? We don't know what it is. It's like, I'm telling you what it is. It's life. Now look, um, life only comes from life, right? All the life that we see comes from life. Like a baby comes from a living human, you know? And the trees the trees are growing out of the earth because it's a living earth. Now, I'm trying to say that all of reality is alive. It's all moving all the time. It's all in motion at the microscopic levels and all that. It's all moving. It's obviously not dead. There's all this intelligence. Where does that come from? Now, even if you believed in evolution, it's like, well, hey, what is the intelligence behind that natural selection? Anything you say, like, or see, so it's the biggest deception going on. They are fooling you by trapping you in language. Like, they're just trapping you in language. Like they're just being like, they're calling life something other than what it is. See? So instead of saying my body is breathing in life, like, instead of saying you are inhaling life, instead of that, they say, oh, you're just inhaling oxygen. See? Oxygen. See? But it's really life. It's really life. See, so they're calling it oxygen, but it's really life, and now you're confused. You're like, oxygen, interesting. What is that mysterious thing? It's like, it's not mysterious. They're just calling life, they're calling this living reality, they're calling it something else, like the universe, or matter, or molecules. Fucking stupid. And by the way, why do you say why do people say, well, this is life? Oh, that's life. This is life. Why do they say that? It's because the truth just, it can't stop. The truth won't stop showing itself. Like, I mean, you say, like, oh, this is my life. Well, what do you mean by this is my life? When you say this is my life, what do you say? What are you talking about? You're talking about everything in your life when you say this is my life. Why? Because reality is alive. Reality itself is alive. You don't get intelligence from an unintelligent reality. I don't even want to call it reality, but how are you going to know what I'm talking about? Because you're brainwashed, so I got to use these words. So reality is actually just life. And by life, I mean, like, well, what word do you want to use? Like, consciousness? Consciousness? What? You know what I mean by life, though, right? Like, the life that's flowing through our bodies. Right? So, I mean, so again, the biggest deception is, like, they deceive you by calling this living reality They deceive you by calling it, this living reality, matter or molecules. It's like, you're just calling it that. You're just calling it molecules. But what it really is life. It's life. It's living energy, or whatever you want to. But really, I'm trying to tell you what it really is, and the most accurate word that I can think of right now is just life. You know, like when they say, "Oh, that person is so full of life," you know, like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, life, like that light in the eyes, the like the animateness, the movement, the motion, the intelligence everywhere. I mean, you see nothing but intelligence. See, everywhere you look, you see intelligence. Like, I mean, all of this stuff goes together. Why does good food go so well with your taste buds, your sense of taste? Why does it go so well with that? See, it all goes together. Think about it. Everything goes together. Yeah, when you watch a movie, you like movies that have bad things happen in them, even though you claim to not like bad things, you still like movies where bad things happen in the movie. See? So it all goes together. It all goes together. Like, everything goes together. Like, why do you think peanut butter and jelly exists? I mean, you think that's just some random fucking thing? Well, why does this make us feel good, or why does see it all goes together? I'm trying to say. See, so it's intelligence. There's an intelligence going on here. It's alive. Reality itself is alive. So when I say that they're deceiving you by saying, or they're calling life something other than life. They're calling it molecules. They're calling it atoms. They're calling it matter. They're calling it the universe. But really, it's life. It's literally life. So they call it something other than what it is. Just like when the abortionist people, they say that they call it a fetus instead of a baby. It's like, see, they're calling it something other than what it is. They're calling it something other than life. Now, life is obviously flowing through that baby that you're calling a fetus. No, the life is flowing through that fetus, that baby. It's not a fetus, but the life is flowing through that baby. Why is that fetus, why is that so-called fetus growing if it's not alive? Does a dead tree keep growing? No. And the fetus is growing, so it has life flowing through it, coming from everywhere. See? But, see, the deception is they're calling it a fetus instead of a baby. Just like how they're calling it the universe instead of life. Just like how they're calling consciousness molecules instead of life. You see? You see the big deception? It's the biggest deception, and it's so simple to get out of if you just realize they are just calling stuff something other than what it really is. And that's why you're brainwashed. That's why you're confused. They started calling oxygen, or they started calling the breath of life molecules. I mean, maybe some of it can look like, maybe some of it looks like what you call molecules. But what is it, though? What are those things? They are life. I mean, the breath of life is giving us life. We're breathing in life. We are inhaling life because all of reality is alive. So these bodies are inhaling life, but they call it oxygen. And then that confuses you. And then you think, oh, I'm not breathing in life. I'm breathing in this mysterious thing that they called oxygen. See, they're calling it oxygen when it's really life. They're calling it water when that's really life. I mean, you can have all the oxygen you want, but if you don't have water, you're going to die. Or your body's going to deconstruct. So, I mean, water is life too. Have you ever heard of living water? I mean, so, see, oxygen is life. It's water is blood. I mean, all this stuff. See, you have all these different fucking names for life. You know, you're calling it molecules. You're calling it blood. You're calling it oxygen. You're calling it water. You're calling it lightning. You're calling it electricity. You're calling it matter. You're calling it this and that. You're calling it the universe. It's life. It's all simply life. Reality is alive. You see? You see? So the deception, the biggest deception, is just they're confusing you with words. They're deceiving you by calling it something that it is not. That they are deceiving you by calling life something other than what it really is. Like calling it atoms or calling it molecules. It's like, that's just what you're calling that stuff. But what is that stuff? It's life. It's life. You know? So I'm trying to use a more accurate word here. See? Calling it blood, calling it oxygen, calling it electrical impulses, calling it neurons firing in the brain, calling it molecules, calling it water, all that, they're talking about life. See? All those words are just talking about life. See? But they're calling it something else. They're calling it something else like, oh, that's blood, and that's molecules, and that's electrical signals in the brain, and those are neurons, and they're just, see, it's all life, right? I mean, why am I animated right now? How am I moving around? I mean, is my body just, is this body just moving around on its own? No, life is flowing into my body from everywhere, from the outside. Just like a device, just like an electric device. It needs power coming into it from the outside so that it can work. Right? So, we are actually the life that is everywhere, and that is just flowing through these bodies. And so it's like a temporary like incarnation. That all of the bodies of the people, the animals, the bugs, all that, all of these bodies have life itself flowing through them, coming from everywhere, just like a device, like Wi-Fi or something. So we are really everywhere, and we incarnate into these limited bodies, these limited human forms or whatever. And then when the body dies, that life that was flowing through the bodies, flowing into the bodies, when the body dies, that life that was flowing through them is still everywhere. See, so when the body gets destroyed, the life that was flowing through the body, coming from everywhere, that's still everywhere. See, so life is flowing into bodies. Because reality itself is alive, and we are one because of that. So you can see yourself, if you're aware of this, you can see yourself in a bug that's crawling on the ground. You can see yourself in an animal. You can see yourself in every human. You can see yourself in everything. It's all life. I'm trying to tell you that reality is alive. Now, I don't have all day to prove this to you, but I mean, if you just use common sense, I mean, some things are just common sense, you know, but unless you're brainwashed. So, anyway, it's like, um, I'll leave you with this. What's more likely? Is reality itself alive, or is it not? Well, obviously, since there's just life, since life exists, well, obviously, it's more likely that reality itself is alive. But we don't need to rely on logic. We just need to spiritually awaken and then know that this is true.